Came across the field on the other side of the Midwest LSA Expo 2011, talking with Mike Thomason.
It's good to see you, Dan.
And he is a volunteer here at the show, so that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because we need a lot of volunteers. We need an army of them, so thank you very much for doing that part of it.
Glad to be here.
But thanks also for bringing your cool little Firestar here. And
FireFly.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
FireFly,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm particularly pleased to see that you got the wings all folded back, because I know that's an attribute to the Kolb airplanes that inspires a lot of people.
It does.
And so it's fun to see them in this particular mode. Of course, we've seen them the other way a lot, but this is your personal airplane.
It is. It was built by Brian Milburn for a gentleman who was about 80 years old in Michigan who wanted to get back into flying, and he didn't fly, felt he couldn't keep up with the airplane, but he pulled it around, and Brian flew it for him, and then he got married, and his wife ended his flying career, and I bought the plane and trailer from him, and I was learning to fly Quicksilver along at that time, and transitioned to this one, went over and took some lessons in a Cobra from Brian Milburn to get the tail wheel all lined out, and I started flying the Ultralight.
Well, that makes an interesting thing, because I've long said some comments about tail draggers, and I won't repeat them right now, but you did fly, and we're going to go talk about the Quicksilver that's right next to us here, which is, of course, a tricycle gear and a very easy machine to operate. Tell me a little bit about how it was for you to go from a tricycle gear Quicksilver to the tail dragger FireFly.
Well, it was Alan Lehman was my instructor. He did a good job because he knew I was going to fly the Kolb. I had purchased it already. And so Alan, in all of his instruction, talked to me about what's different about what I was doing from what I was going to do. And so he really did a good job of instruction, and I knew sort of what to expect. Now, when I got in the Cobra, which has a castering but center lock tail wheel, and it was a windy day at the Kolb factory. I got in there with Brian. I made a couple circles to get it all straightened out and to get doing what I was supposed to do. Not bad. Brian gave me a couple hours of instruction, and he said, I don't think you're going to kill yourself. I'm going to let you go. Now, the other thing about the difference between that Cobra and this FireFly is the FireFly wheel, unless you've made a modification, does not cast.
It's not a freewheeling.
No, it's not. And so, but the difference is some in your taxi. Kolbs don't ground loop very easily, at least this one doesn't. And you have the differences in your takeoff, because you're definitely going to be rudder with your P factor.
The expression usually is you have happy feet in a
happy
tail
feet. You're going to be
those feet going.
You're dancing.
You're going to be all right. Don't
and
move
that
them a
shouldn't
lot,
put anybody off about flying one, by the way.
Well, it doesn't. And the other part about the Kolb that makes it a particularly easy tail dragger is that there's not some big steep angle here. This nose is way up in the air, so that's why they don't tend to have much of a tendency to ground loop either, because they're kind of not a tail dragger. It just happens to have a wheel in the rear.
Right. When you bring the tail up, then it's tail dragger. That in the FireFly now. Now, when you bring the tail up, you're taking off in a tail dragger. When you're landing, you're in a tail dragger before you get it set down. So that part of it is the same.
So are you doing good three-point landings?
I don't even try three-point landings anymore. All my landings are dead stick. That's the way I landed.
Yeah.
And,
perfect.
I landed all dead stick. Because I think I learned in the Quicksilver, I was at first doing three-point landings. But I found out it's much easier to land the Kolb if you just bring it in right to the runway, keep it flying, it shuts off, it sets down, the tail wheel goes down. Very easy.
It's not very far off the ground, even when you're level.
Exactly.
I've put it at maybe a foot or so,
exactly.
So it doesn't have to drop down too much.
No.
They're a real nice airplane to fly. Now, is this one, and I see you got a parachute on it, I always love to see that.
Yeah.
And this looks like, is this a 503 on here?
Oh, no. It wouldn't be legal if it was. It's a 447.
Next question I was going to ask you then, if it's got the 447, it could be legal. Is it a legal ultralight?
It is legal. Brian says it is. I've never weighed it. But,
well, he's a pretty honest sort, so.
They designed it that way. It has nothing on it that would make it not legal. When they put this on, my understanding is they get a little more weight. They added the brakes, which I think is a great safety factor.
Yeah,
it has been for me. It's certainly kept me out of the fence a couple times, especially learning.
FAA allows 24 pounds of additional weight for the parachute without making you take it off to weigh it without it, because that would be potentially unsafe. So they just said, look, we'll just add 24 pounds. So you take the 254 that's the maximum empty weight of an ultralight, and you add 24 pounds for the parachute, you get 278. And if this weighs less than that, well, fine. Then you can actually add things like brakes, and as long as you stay within that number, and you fly it. I know these. It looks like a pretty sleek machine. It looks real sleek with the wings back, of course, but it actually doesn't fly all that fast. It stays within the ultralight weight.
It's within that speed limit. Oh, I don't know. I've got about 143 hours.
143
hours.
I've
got probably. I've probably got 200 landings, and I have to check my logbook. But,
real good.
It's a ball to fly, and I'll tell you why I brought it here. One reason is because my cousin is Chris, and he's running the show, but he was talking about he couldn't get the light guys to come. He just has tried, but fellas, you need to show up.
Well, it's called the LSA show, so I kind of understand that.
Well, I do, but a lot of guys that have come up here said, hey, I heard the Kolb was going to be here. I wanted to see it. They stopped and talked about the Quicksilver all day long, so I hope all of you guys come. I really do. I want to urge you to come. But I wanted to show people that you can fly and not be a rich guy. You can fly and fly for not pennies, but you can get training and you can fly something that's, I call this the John boat of the air. If you had a John boat, you'd get out on the lake, on the river, you tool around, you see how your neighbors are doing, you see what's going on around here and around, and that's what I do.
You go do a little aerial sightseeing.
A little aerial sightseeing.
The John boat guys, he's stuck. He's down there on the ground. You can't see very far. No. You can see forever.
Exactly. And for the, I'm 58 years old. I still step outside my house to watch a plane go over. Even if I think I know what it is, I step out there to watch it. And the greatest joy that I have is lifting off that runway and get in the air.
Watching the ground sink away.
The ground sinks away. The world looks better.
Thanks so much for bringing your airplane out here and letting us see it.
Thank you.
And letting some other folks see it on
Thanks so much.
All over the place.
Appreciate your work.
Dan Johnson here reporting at the Midwest LSA Expo 2011. You can see this and many other videos on aircraftreporters.tv.